For somebody that is listening, watching right now, and they're looking to make some sort of powerful shift in their life, move through some of the fear, what is one thing that you recommend that can help them shift?
You know what I want to say, Robyn? Often a response to that would be to witness the fear. But what I want to say instead is get to know your heart, get to know your soul. Invite that in each day. It might be journaling. It might be that I meditate or I just say a simple little thing, but just bring that in.
If you've ever felt stuck in your career, relationships, or finances, wondering why you keep hitting the same roadblocks, then this episode is for you. I am thrilled to have spiritual coaching extraordinaire Jessica joins with us to help unravel the underlying patterns that might be holding you back. Jessica believes that the root of these challenges isn't what you think. It's not the job, the relationship, or the paycheck. It's fear. And the key to breaking free, learning to trust the truth in your heart over the fear in your mind. Jessica has spent years guiding people to reconnect with their soul's purpose, to step into their personal power, and to create lives that are truly aligned with their heart's desires. And today, she's not just here to share her wisdom, she's here to coach in real time. We have two guests joining us who will be in the hot seat, receiving live coaching from Jessica as she helps them break through these fears and limiting beliefs that are keeping them stuck. So, whether you're listening and nodding along because their stories sound familiar, or you're just looking for that next nudge forward in your own journey, stay with us. This episode might just be the shift you've been waiting for. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Robyn. I'm so happy to be with you.
I'm so excited that we get to share this conversation and that people can see your coaching and your guidance in real time.
It's going to be fun.
So, can you start and tell us a little bit about your journey and how you went from being a high-powered corporate career executive to becoming an extraordinary spiritual coach and guide?
I know it's like total 180. Look, I've been doing the journey that we're all here to do. We all have our own stories around it, and it's taking a journey from fear to love. And I spent my life ruled by different forms of fear, different worries, different doubts, different limitations, like so many of us do. And where that led me is to anchoring my life to a level of scarcity mentality and survival consciousness. So when I grew up, I was like, okay, what am I going to do with my life that can make me a lot of money, that I can be good at? It was so much of this total survival mentality. And so when I went to college, I didn't think about, oh, what am I going to study that I absolutely love and that I have passion for? It was like, what can I be good at to be successful? For me, it was very much an outward journey. Like I was going to find happiness out there. If I could be successful enough or achieve enough, like I was going to feel something that I didn't know at the time that was deeply missing within me. So like my dirty little secret, I now say, is that I spent 20 years in advertising and marketing and I never loved it. And many days I didn't even like it. But I didn't know that there was an opportunity to choose different for myself. I thought, like many of us tell us, this is life. This is what you do. You get a job, you push through, you struggle through. One day you retire and be happy. The problem was there was this voice inside of me that didn't want me to settle for that. I had panic attacks in my very first job because there was like this thing inside of me that was saying like, no, there's something more. There's something different.
Hear that.
Yeah, I mean, I did not listen to it till later on. I didn't even understand it. What I thought it was, I was crazy. What I thought was like there was something wrong with me. Why can all these people be out there in these corporate jobs in this life and seemingly happy and I'm not? And as a kid, I always had really big dreams. I just never even thought to pursue them. I had a story in my mind that all those things that I really wanted just somehow weren't possible for me. So your question, it's my whole kind of life journey. So it's a big answer, but I will say I struggled with it. I was in marketing and advertising for 20 years and I struggled with it. I would try to find a new job. Oh, it was this place that was causing me unhappiness. I wasn't at the right agency. And the truth is, I finally just hit bottom with it emotionally, physically, mentally, all the things. I was in physical burnout. I was in depression. I was in anxiety. I was falling apart. And that kind of pain is the portal to awakening energy woke me up. And I started to have some realizations around it. And this was about 10 years ago that led me to take some leaps and to take a chance. And what I did is I started approaching life from a completely different mentality. I no longer started thinking, oh, it's up to me to figure it out. I'm going to solve it. I started leading my life on a surrendered journey, saying, universe, show me how to take who I am and what I love. Show me. And I'm cutting through a lot of points in the story that led me to where I am now, which was the realization of my soul purpose, which for me, I define as understanding the truth of who you are and capital A-N-D, what you love, and taking that to the world in some way. And that's what I'm lucky enough to be able to be doing today.
That's beautiful. Number one, that definition of soul purpose, and that you were able to actually take the leap and take that surrender. I want to know, because I think those listening are like, okay, how was that the hardest point in the journey for you that ultimately made you surrender? Was it physically you couldn't get up anymore? What was it that really drove you to look inside or to listen to the voice? What was it?
It was just enough pain. I had been, again, from my very first job in advertising, and again, nothing against the ad industry or anyone working in it. It's a great industry, it just wasn't for me. But I had been toggling and fighting this thing forever. I've been trying to figure this thing out. Like, why can't I be happy in this career? And again, I was asking the wrong questions, because the question I was asking was, what's wrong with me? And so I kept trudging through. And I guess I just got to a place when it was like a quintessential midlife crisis. I was right around the age of 40 at the time, where I was like, do I just want to continue waking up, dreading going to work? And the answer was no. And again, it's not like this was not a one and done it. I had been trying different ways. I'd done the career assessments. I had done the Simon Sinek concentric circles, and it wasn't revealing to me the answer. And it was very much a moment of clarity where I just woke up and I go, oh my God, I've been looking out there for something I can only solve within here. And very much in the alignment with your show, I've always been a spiritual seeker. And what I chose to do was, at this time, I was a global CMO of a massive tech company. I was in a massive role, but I had this kind of existential, I could see forward in my life. I'm like, I could continue this for another 20 years and I'm going to die one day and I'm going to be, wow, I was successful. And I just saw two kind of crossroads, and I decided I wanted to get on option B, to step into the unknown. And so I did. I took a chance. I really would say it's like a higher power, universe, God, that just came through me in that moment. My soul, right? It's one with all of that, and gave me the courage to take this leap into the unknown. I was in enough pain that I was willing to do.
Oh my, I very much can relate to that. And I think those listening, your soul really does tell you when you need to make a change. Because to your point, everything on paper looked incredible. There was no reason for you to leave that job, really.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you just make this decision. How do you come to talking about soul's purpose and understanding intuition and coaching and all of that? How does that come into your world?
Yeah. And I'll back up, because I said this was not an overnight thing. I had made many attempts to leave, and it's like they kept sucking me back in. But one attempt had been about 5 years prior, when I had been laid off from a job. And in that moment too, my soul, I don't know if I had that vocabulary, but it was a urge, a pushing had called me, don't go get another job right now. Take some time off. I traveled for a year by myself. I did a solo journey over in Southeast Asia, India.
Like your Eat, Pray, Love.
It was and it was around the time. Yeah, it was totally inspired by the book, hands down. And it was on that journey, and I was in meditation, and I literally heard a voice, and it said, the truth in your heart is more real than the fear in your mind. And that was the first time I started to wake up to the notion of purpose, because at that time, my heart, as I understood it, was saying, like, there's something more for you. There's something totally different. And the fear in my mind was saying, no, you're crazy. That's ridiculous. You're all these different things. And I started to wake up to this notion of my purpose is to believe the truth in my heart at a fundamental level. So I had these slow awakenings. Again, this wasn't just like a aha, white light moment, and all of a sudden everything was clear. There were these subtle perception shifts I'd already been having. So by the time when I left that job and leaped into it, I knew I was going to go on an inward journey. I knew I hadn't been finding the answers out there. and very much inspired by a lot of the messages that Oprah had been putting out, which I had heard that she had said this prayer of, God, show me how to take who I am and what I love. And I thought, I'm just going to try to live by that prayer each day and see where that leads me. I'm going to stop trying to figure this out and think my way into it, not working.
That's right.
Because I'd been in this big job, I knew I could take a sabbatical, right? I want to be some reality here. I knew I had a year runway that I could actually sit and really sabbatical, spiritually reveal some of this to me. And so that's how it began. And I'll tell you, I literally fell into coaching, literally fell into the universe. Really, it was not on my vision board. It was not on my plan, which is like very interesting.
No, right. It is.
Yeah.
But yet when something like that falls into your lap and it feels in alignment with who you are, you go with it.
That's what happened. So I'm here, I'm like doing my prayer work every day. I'm trying to be playful and curious because the big question was, who am I and what do I love? I was 40 years old and I did not know. And with that, I'm like, I'm not going to try to bring in this control energy to figure out what I love. What do I love? I was like, I'm going to play with this. I'm going to have fun with this. I'm going to get curious about it. Yeah. I'm going to get curious about me. And so the most that I allowed myself, my ego was still very much at play, to understand that I love, I thought, oh, I'm meant to bring purpose to companies. So that was my idea in this first year sabbatical. So I'm out there, I'm like a little consulting hat on. Oh, I'm going to bring purpose to companies. And I'm speaking at a conference about it because I was able to speak a bit then, given my past credentials. And a woman came up to me. It was at Advertising Week in New York. And she said, have you ever thought about helping individuals align to their purpose? Have you ever thought about coaching? And it was totally the universe was like, who are you? And we're going to show you. You've been doing that prayer. Here you go. And it was very clear to me in that moment. And then things started to take off and unfold and expand from there.
And I want to also just touch on what you said that came to you about the truth in your heart versus the fear in your mind. And even what you're just saying, am I going to think this thing through? How am I going to think my way out? And as soon as you were tapping into that truth in your heart, all of these kind of synchronicities came into your world because there's such a difference. We really do think we can think our way out. And that fear is in our mind. It can then permeate the rest of you if you allow it to.
Yes.
That's a really profound statement.
Yeah. I often say the soul purpose journey actually highlights and exacerbates, if you will, the spiritual journey that we're all on here doing. So like no matter what religion you believe, no matter what spiritual teacher or guru you follow, the message is more or less the same. If you think of Earth as a school, we're here moment to moment having this experience with this thing called fear that actually doesn't exist anywhere. It's like part of this place that we're in, part of this Earth. So we're having this deep experience of actually what isn't to remember what is. So every day I wake up in Earth School and I have a moment to moment choice. Am I aligned with the fear in my mind, this ego voice that has become a bit dysfunctional, if you will, or am I listening to the truth in my heart? Moment to moment, what am I choosing? Moment to moment. And when you do something big like soul purpose journey, which is such a conflict and battle with one another, it can just awaken you that moment. You go, oh my God, it did for me. These dreams I've had in my heart since I was a kid, they're only there because they're my destiny. They're only there because they're meant to be pursued.
Yeah, that's right. And I really hope if you are listening or watching right now, think about what were those dreams, because that was your soul talking to you. Those were placed before you came into this lifetime, into your heart so that they could actually be imagined in your mind. And that's the source. That's beautiful.
Yes. And I was like, oh my God, like it's the reverse. They're only there because they're my possibility, where my ego's telling me like, oh, it's like they were a form of torture. Like all these things I couldn't have. That's the
which I would say most people have that mindset where there's something that happens to us between the ages of 6 and now that we're programmed differently. That reverse happens.
Yeah. And that's the journey we're meant to take.
Yes, agree. It's the school part of Earth.
Totally. Yeah. When we're born, we're very connected to the soul. And then the ego really starts to form. And then we have this deep inherent experience of what isn't. And then the opportunity we have in any lifetime is to wake up out of that. And so to flip it again and to come to remember the truth of who you are and what is true and the highest truth.
And you brought up that you are thinking of that on a daily basis. How do you recommend someone start recognizing when fear is in the driver's seat?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in the minute you wake up, like really, because it's your subconscious, it's unconsciousness. But I just default into this lack. And when we say fear, we're talking fear in all forms. Doubt, worry, limitation. There's many languages of it. It's not just always, I'm scared, but that's ultimately where it's coming from.
Yes.
But to start the day with a simple intention, I sometimes even do it like when I'm still in bed, like the minute that I'm aware that I'm awake. And I'll just start saying things to myself like, I choose the voice of love today. I choose the voice of love today. I'll start saying that to myself. Or if I want to do something more formal, depending on what your morning practice is, it's like just the intention. I'm going to witness the fear today. And I'm going to listen to my heart. I'm going to choose to believe in my heart. And the witnessing is key because the moment that you believe in the voice of fear in your mind, you're identified with it and it feels real. And then it starts to feel true. And then you spiral on whatever that the thing is, right? So it's like,
Yes.
so it's always, I'm going to be the witness and just reminding myself that's what I'm doing today. And I'm going to choose to believe the truth in my heart. And sometimes depending on where you are in the journey, it might be, I'm going to pray for the pause so that you have that pause before the identifying, the believing, that you have a moment of pause to be able to witness.
I love that.
That's what I'll do with a lot of my clients. I'm like, your goal today is have a pause, is to have the pause before you're in the story and you're spiraling in it because you're so identified with it.
Oh my, I love the pause. And I also like this idea, which came to me as you were talking about this practice, which is the universe has my back. So I'm going to witness this, but I'm going to know the universe has my back. That's going to be the truth in my heart.
Yeah. And look, I'll be so curious because I have no idea who you're bringing on later.
Yes.
But I'll be so curious because I'll say this now because so much of everything often comes down to I have a God problem, meaning my relationship with my higher power, universe, source. I don't care what you call it. Choose your word. There is something there that I don't trust. There is something there that I have to work on in my own understanding, in my own relationship and how I'm connecting. So yeah, like the universe is for you. God is for you. Source is for you. It is you.
It is
you.
you.
One with
That's actually huge. It is you. If we can remember that, that would answer so many of our questions around fear. And one of the things that we've talked about is that more people are waking up.
Yes.
And so they're wanting purpose and meaning in their lives. And I think it's really interesting because what you said was you were around 40 when this really hit you. I got to do something. And I was frankly around the same age too, when things started to go south for me in my own mind, I would say, in my heart, in my mind. So what would you say in terms of your soul's voice? And what does that mean? Understanding and trusting that, and really people finding meaning in their lives.
Yeah. I'll say two things. And one thing, and that could be such a big conversation. So I'll try not to derail us too much, but you're right. And I happen to be 40 at the time in you, but I'm seeing it in the younger generations. People are talking about purpose and meaning in a way that never happened before. It was not a mainstream conversation even 10 years ago. It was just becoming one. And to me, and you and I have talked about this offline, like there is a consciousness shift happening. I know it doesn't look like it out there, but that's part of it. It's part of the crumbling because we're doing a collective shadow healing right now.
You're right. You know what? Will you say that one more time? Because I think people really need to
I'll
hear
say
that.
it this way. What's going on out there is actually what awakening looks like. It's a crumbling. It is a bringing polarity to the surface to see it clearly so that you can understand it and heal. You cannot heal what you don't see. So there is this process, and whether you do it individually or collectively, where you bring up all the darkness, stuff buried deep down, and you bring it up clearly to see it. I wish it wasn't so long. It is though. I know even in my own self, I was in like a decade-long shadow work. I get it. I get how painful it is, but that's what's happening. And so energetically, the consciousness of the planet is shifting. We are shifting. And that's why you're starting to wake up and go, wow, the stuff I used to be like, okay with doesn't serve me anymore. These people, these places, these things, this vocation feels heavy because your vibration is rising and it's not a match for it anymore. So That's what is happening and why we're having so many of these conversations and they're becoming more and more mainstream. You go back to your Oprah days, you did so much with bringing on Eckhart Tolle. Remember that was like this new profound thing. And now Kendrick Lamar raps about Eckhart Tolle. It's like it's a mainstream conversation.
Even honestly, even 7 years ago when we were starting Seeking Center.
Yeah. So that's just a reflection of the consciousness shifting. But how do you hear your soul? I want to say to anyone listening or watching, like that is unique to you. I invite you to get curious about it and play with it. And you make it like this fun, joyful thing that how does your soul speak to you? I can offer some principles. I'll tell you, it's not going to speak to you through fear. It's not going to put you down. It's not going to be talking at you all day. That's ego. It's not going to even be in story often or necessarily always words per se, but it's going to be this loving feeling. Mine is these loving, gentle nudges. It's a soft voice, but a powerful voice. And it's the one that's this gut, this thing that's just pushing me forward. That's a bit indescribable. That's how mine is. I encourage you.
I love the way you put that. And it's so interesting.
Yeah.
I did this download. I do these downloads every week. And I just set the intention to receive wisdom and guidance for everybody who comes across this download. And what you just said is what came through. When I read it back, because I don't actually know what I'm doing as I'm typing, but when I read it back, it was all about the subtle moments. That is when your soul is whispering to you. It's the subtlety. And then it's the feeling. It's the little nudge. You're supposed to call that person, answer that call, or check this article out. It's all the little things, to your point. It's so subtle. And for every person, it comes across a little differently, right? When I say whisper, sometimes I literally hear something in my inside, right? But not everybody gets that. Other people, it's just something that shows up more than once in your day or in your week even. Could be someone told you about a book, then another person tells you about the same book, and a third person. Pay attention.
The synchronicities are massive. And you know what, too, I hear from you, Robyn, that I think is really good for people to understand. It comes more regularly when you actually create space, because I'll tell you what the soul is not interested in doing. To the soul, our ego voice is like a little gnat, but it's not going to invest time in trying to battle it. So if you are constantly in the doing energy, if you are constantly in story and then thinking all day long, there's not space for the soul to come in, because again, the soul's not going to come in and try to hide. It's no interest in battling the ego. So meditation, your quiet time, the consistently creating space for it allows that voice to get louder and have a bigger bandwidth, if you will, bigger presence in your life.
Oh, that's so true. And I think what you were saying, it's as easy as doing something right when you get up in the morning.
Totally.
Like, don't even get out of bed.
It doesn't need to be a big formal production. Like it's ease. It's just ease and simplicity.
It's true. Like the more you can do that, the better. So let's talk about your coaching.
Yes.
Tell us how you do your real-time coaching that we're going to even experience today.
Yeah, it's a blend of lived experience. My coaching training has been my spiritual study, like you, since a very young age. It's not something I grew up in, but in my mid-20s got really, so like Course in Miracles, A New Earth, all these different courses and books, they have really been my facilitation. And then in recent years, I've always been intuitive, but I didn't know or understand that until really within the last decade, if you will. And sometimes that comes in and comes to play too. I never quite know. And I use all those tools from my tool set. I use my soul senses as much as my human senses and lived experience.
And I will say that it's so brave of you too. I just think hot seat coaching, however we want to put it, I want people listening and watching to know that you know nothing about
I know nothing.
Anybody who's coming. We have two people coming on today, both with very different questions and looking for some guidance. And Jessica has no clue. I
have no clue.
And so I'm excited to be a witness in this and just thank you. Just thank you in advance, because
I'm excited too.
What the wisdom for myself that comes through when we talk. And I know that's going to help these two women so much.
Amazing. It goes both ways, but thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to let Jen in. So Jen is coming in.
Hi, Jen.
Hi. So Jen, meet Jessica. Jessica, meet Jen.
Hi.
So nice to meet you. Thanks for saying yes to this.
Oh,
It's
sure.
really brave and courageous of you to come on and be so vulnerable. I'm going to assume in such a public way. So thank you in advance.
Sure. Thank you for doing this. It's fun.
Yeah. And I was just saying before you got on that Jessica has no idea what your question is.
Okay.
We've never met before, have we, Jen?
No,
Never.
we have not.
So let's go. I will be here to chime in wherever needed, but if you want to queue up your question.
Yeah, Jen, I would say just share with me in whatever your question is or whatever way that I can possibly help you today.
Okay. I feel like my life is very full and I'm happy with everything, but not that I need it, but I would like to meet my person. And trying to remain positive while I'm looking is a challenge sometimes. And so just like any ideas you have around that.
Yeah, absolutely. What are you healing from the past and that connection? Is that in your awareness?
I would say getting over my divorce. And I don't know, Robyn, what else would you say to that?
That's actually what I was going to say is overcoming her divorce. Jen actually was to me super courageous in ending her marriage and remaining actually amicable with her ex-husband. That was really brave. She'd been married for a long time, and to just know that she was ready for something different, and that was a different type of partnership. And so I think talking about what was and wasn't necessarily working in that partnership probably would be helpful.
Yeah, Jen, what I'm feeling, and just please tell me if I'm off base or wrong. It could be in your unconscious. I don't know if it's in your conscious awareness. Is there a story where you feel like something was your fault?
I think in any marriage, it takes two people, but I don't know that I feel like I was in love with him when I got married, and I don't feel like I made a mistake in marrying him. And I have two amazing boys out of that. But I think the only thing where I would feel like is my fault is, which is funny because Robyn always talks about me finding my voice, is like me speaking up more or being able to communicate my needs instead of waiting to communicate my needs until it was too late. But I don't know beyond that I feel like it was my fault. There was not one thing in the marriage that was like, this is what ended it, but it was a compilation of a bunch of different things. But I feel like it takes two to tango.
No, absolutely. And I don't know if there was like a time period where it was, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try this. And it sounds like you got to the point where you were like, okay, I've done everything I can do and made the courageous and brave step to walk away. Is there anything at all within it? And maybe we play with the voice part of it for a little bit of a second. Like, where is that today with you of speaking up, asking for what you need, using your voice? How would you define that today?
And paying attention when I'm like meeting somebody, what are they doing that's helpful with that? Are they a good communicator? Are they asking, what do I need? Or how do I prefer such and such? Whether it's literal communication, like how do you prefer to text or call, or are you available during the day, or should I only communicate with you at night? Like that sort of thing. So I feel like I'm paying more attention to that, and communication's a huge piece, which I think it is for a lot of people, like a huge piece of the puzzle in terms of why things didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. And play with me on this a little bit, because, okay, this is what I'm feeling. I want you to know where I'm going. So you're not feeling like there's a story in the past marriage we want to smash a little bit and release so you can step into, and this is all just about you, like not be the person, just about you and how you view you. So if you put a story like, when I was in my marriage, I was XYZ as a communicator, what would you say? How would you describe that?
I would have trouble, like when we were having like quote an argument, I would have trouble speaking up because he could have been a prosecutor. Like he would throw so many things at me at once, and I felt like I couldn't take notes in my head or get a response to all of those things at once. So he would get annoyed. He'd say I was like a deer in headlights, or I would shut down because I couldn't process that quickly. That's just the way my brain is.
And how did that make you feel in that moment
When
about you?
Sometimes I feel, am I stupid?
I'm hearing a powerless. Yeah, there's something wrong, like small or powerless. You use the word stupid. Yeah. And what's the truth? So that was a story that you were feeling, and understandably in that moment, because I'm feeling the energy of it. Feels like it would have been really overwhelming and hard for anyone, by the way. What's the story that you want to choose about yourself that you know is deep down true? about yourself via communicating, via how you relate to others, about the truth of who you are?
I think I am good at building strong relationships and a good listener and a really empathetic person, but I don't know that I got that feeling from him.
Okay. There's still the way I'm feeling it. And what I want to say is anything I take it if it resonates, if it doesn't, leave behind. Like only you know the truth about you when it comes down to it. But that I'm not doing it right. And where I'm going with this is we want to cut the cords. We want to heal all of that before we even talk about attracting the new. Because what happens is if that is lingering at all, you're going to attract it again in just a different body. Okay. Because this is the thing with the universe. It's going to keep wanting to bring you opportunities to mirror to you, to show you where you don't feel whole about you so that you can heal it. It's just showing you.
Yeah.
So I'm not doing it right. You do it different. You have a different communication style than the relationship you're in, but it doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just different. It's just beautifully, uniquely you. So if you talk about your soul, your heart, and the way that you relate to others, what is that? What's like the goodness in your heart and the way that you connect with one another's? What would you say about that?
Robyn, you want to speak? You want to step in?
I would love to.
Help her out.
That's why I'm here. Jen is so generous and warm and loving. And she's the kind of person you can count on for anything. And she makes you laugh and she does research. And she's that person who is there to learn something new together. Like, for instance, she came to my Thanksgiving dinner, which is 40 people, and knew nobody except for me. And everybody in my family was like, I love Jen so much. Like, she can get along with anybody. And she is just such generous of heart and energy. And it's what I want Jen to value that in herself so that others, like who she's attracting, can value that as well. And I would also say is you are so smart too, but you need to see that. Like I can see that, but you need to see that. And I would say also thinking about, she's just the most wonderful mom too, on top of everything. And so think about how you are in that role. And I think how confident you are in that role. And to me, it's applying that in all these other areas to yourself and then in your life. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you.
So I love that. And Jen, what I would love for you to do, and perhaps Robyn can help you, is you write like a new story about you. Okay. It's almost like a love letter to yourself. And I know that sounds a little bit cheesy and maybe feels a little bit weird, but I'm a generous person. I'm a good heart, all the kinds of things that Robyn just said aloud. And it's something that you start to read to yourself every day and really take it in. And really allow yourself to take it in. And then there's another thing too here within this. Have you ever had a communication problem with Robyn or any of your other close friends? Okay.
No.
So within that letter to yourself, that you really writing like all the things that are amazing about you, it's okay to celebrate yourself. It's okay to give love to yourself. I know it can feel like, oh my God, I'm gonna write a love letter to it's a little bit weird, but that you write that out. Is there something, and however we end up writing it, but it's, how I communicate is perfect. How I communicate is more than enough for the people that truly love me. There's something there within it that just feels like an insecurity there still within you that we need to smash. And I'm not saying don't work on using your voice more, the things that you're working towards. But again, like the people that truly unconditionally love you are not going to use that against you.
It's the truth.
It's interesting because one of my things was when I felt like when I shared stuff, he would turn it around and throw it back in my face. It's hard. Like one time I said, it's hard for me to apologize sometimes. And he then would say to me, I know it's hard for you to apologize, but whatever, and throw it back at me, like in a critical way.
I'm going to say this. I'm just going to be really clear. It sounds like that was an abusive relationship too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so what you're in, some maybe narcissistic abuse there is what it feels like. And so what I also want you to acknowledge, if you are in a long-term narcissistic abusive marriage, like you experienced trauma. Okay. And that is going to take a while to recover. And that is because it just tears you down. It psychologically, everything. And I want you to just give like yourself one to have survived that and walked away is freaking massive. The way it like any kind of gaslighting over time like that, to be able to wake up out of that is huge. But right now it's also like your time right now is to give love to you. And I'll just say back on the love letter thing, having gone through something similar, what I did about 10 years ago when I was going through a lot, I really had a journal and I would just write myself a love letter every day. And I really just encourage you, and we're going to get to the next relationship in a second. I haven't lost sight of that, by the way, but there's two simultaneous paths right here. So it's attracting what you deserve next.
Yeah.
That's also like focusing on your self-love journey right now and also letting yourself recover from what that was. And I don't know if you've sought therapy, if you know you've gone any of those routes, worked with any kind of coach that has experience in that, but that's a lot to recover from too. And you have to give yourself a little time and space. So right now, like self-love and it's almost like this is what I would, because it seeps in your subconscious. So what I was feeling originally was that it's like, it's my fault. And even if like logically you knew it wasn't, when someone keeps telling you it is, I can't communicate this way because you did it. You might not believe it here, but it seeps in your subconscious. So I think there's some energy there, perhaps, where you felt like, yeah, you believe some of the stories he told you. So a really good exercise for you on top of this, I know I'm giving you a lot, and I'm not saying do this in a day, like a little bit over time. If you just go back, even if I don't believe what he was saying, I'm just going to, some of the things he told me over and over about me, write them down. And I want you, because you get to choose what you believe about you, write a new story. So one side of the page would be the shit he told me. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the other side of the page would be what I'm choosing to tell me now. Get Robyn to help you if it feels too hard. Just to counterbalance, because some of that stuff seeps in our unconscious in a way that we're not even fully aware of. I feel a little bit of there. So that's this self-love journey. Like that's two simultaneous paths. You focus on pouring in, you focus on loving you, you focus on rewriting, telling yourself a new story. Then with the new man, that's definitely coming. So how have you gone about that so far? Tell me what you've been doing.
Dating sites.
Okay. Yeah. Amazing. So you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah, I for sure am.
Good.
I for
Great.
sure am.
Great. And then have you done any manifestation work around it?
Yeah, a little. Yeah. I just started a little bit. I made a list the other night.
Okay.
I just started reading this book and it said, write 5 things that you want to manifest.
Okay.
So I wrote that down.
Yeah. So I'll give you this really quick because I know we're on a time crunch. So just write the narrative. And I would write the first person narrative of the best day of your life in this relationship. Okay. And describe him, but how you are together, how he treats you, bring it to life. First person, the best day in the life of this. You might feel like you're playing make-believe. That's okay. And then write that and then just read that every morning and allow yourself to get excited. Get excited. Like like this is happening. I know it because I'm choosing it.
And I'll hold you to it.
That's all I've got for you for now, but I'm happy to talk more offline. And I just thank you for being so brave and coming on and sharing. You helped us all. And I've been there too. So I feel you.
Yeah. Thank you, Jen. Thank you so much. Right.
Thank you so much, Jen.
Thanks, Jen. Hi, Noelle.
Hi, Robyn. How are you?
Great. And really happy to see you and introduce you to Jessica.
Thank you for being here and doing this. So brave of you.
Thank you so much for even having this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Amazing. Robyn, should we just get into it?
Yeah. And just so you know, Jessica knows nothing.
Yes. No, nothing. We've never met. So what I would say, Noelle, is like whatever questions, whatever you need help with in whatever way you feel comfortable sharing, knowing this is being broadcast out, I'll just give you the floor and then I'll do my best to help in any way I can.
Okay. Thank you. I've listened to a few of your podcasts and I'm just so excited because I love the way you give advice. And so I'm very excited to have this time with you. So I have been doing a lot of self-work and have really identified that I've typically lived very much in the fear-based and with a scarcity mindset. And I've identified that now. I'm also going through a number of transitions, career-wise, family-wise, with my daughter leaving next year for college. And so my question is, how do I, especially with the career perspective, because obviously there's a lot of real life responsibilities that come. So how do I stay authentic to my progress and without going backwards into the kind of more comfortable and habitual mindset that I've had? as I'm going through this transition and unknowns in all these other areas.
Yeah. First, can I ask you, Noelle, are you comfortable or okay if I'm receiving messages that I share them with you? I'm
Yes.
receiving something really specific. And I think you are aware. And I don't know if it's mother or father line, but ancestrally, it feels like there's a long history of intense fear, trauma in one or both of the lineage in terms of scarcity and things. Are you aware of that and know
100%.
what those stories are? Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the message. It almost make me cry. No big deal, but like you're really here to break that.
I feel that. I know that now.
Okay. Yeah. You are here. That is your purpose in this life. That is this incarnation for you is to write a new path and to totally heal that intense ancestral trauma around this. So here's the good news. You are doing it. The fact that we're talking about it and it's in your awareness, as soon as something is in awareness, it's done in the quantum, right? It's done. Now you're catching up to it in linear time, but I get that the journey is really hard, but I want you to know you're here to do it. You are doing it. If that's making any of the fear any more intense. Is it mother, father side or both?
It's a little bit of both, but much more mother.
Okay. And you're like aware, I don't know, it probably goes back many generations, I'm feeling, but you're aware of the recent generational stories around that?
Yes.
And then what, if anything, different modalities, things have you done to energetically or even consciously try to heal that within you?
Oh gosh, there's been a number of things, everything from using my breath and just mindset and mantras, getting in touch with my younger self and my previous family members to give them grace and no longer blame, basically. Put the blame away, really just be empathetic. I now am empathetic instead of really upset or angry or sad or any of those things. Yeah.
Okay, I feel that. There's two things I want to give you, and I would actually suggest doing both. One is way more woo. Let me or Robyn or someone else help you find a really good energy healer. I might be able to do some of it and I'd be open to trying with you, but just truly an energy healer that can help you go back like 7, 9 generations and really just transmute some of that. You would participate in that, but I think that's one route to go at it with. Then secondly, I love how you're holding the empathy, and that's what you're meant to do in this life, the forgiveness for it. With any of this kind of stuff, and you're already doing it, but I want to paint the picture to you. And it's anything from a minor limiting belief to deep generational programming. Okay. Because that's what we're talking about. Ancestral programming is, if you think of an iceberg and beneath the surface, what you want to do is bring all that up. When you bring it up into the light and you shine a light on it via your awareness, you start to transmute it. So that said, that's what I was asking. Are you aware of the stories? Are you aware of the trauma, where it came from? It sounds like you are. If there's any more understanding you need to do there, I invite you to do it. Every time you bring it up, you're the light worker. You're shining your light on it. It's transmuting. Then what I would invite you to do, this is more of a conscious cognitive exercise, but I think it'll be a powerful one for you, is around scarcity and trauma with women too. So all of that, write down the 5 main stories, like the fear-based stories that you inherited, whether it's about women and what they're capable of or not, or what they need to be, and then any scarcity. And then what you're going to do, and again, you're a light worker, so you're going to be able to do it, is you're going to write the new stories. So you're going to have, it's really funny, similar to caller that was on before, but totally different circumstance. Get really clear. This was the story I inherited, this one. And then what is the new story you're choosing? And then what I want to guide you to do with those news stories is let your soul, you're going to be able to do this, show you what to do with those news stories. It might be a little ritual you do every day. It might be like one thing, like you take them to the beach, you burn them. I don't know, but there's something specific for you to do with those news stories as a way to, I'm bringing these in. And through me bringing them in, I'm undoing all of that and not passing it on and creating a new pattern. I'm weaving a new fabric into my lineage. Okay. This is really big, deep stuff. I did not expect to go there. Are you tracking me so far?
100%, Jessica. If nothing else, this is very validating that you're saying all this. Yeah, that has been a lot of my work. And I've been doing it, like even when Lizzie Cutler comes on and offers some free cleansing, so I've been working at this, and it's very validating that you're telling me that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Great. Now back on like the more tangible, because what's ultimately gonna transmute this whole thing is when you do different. When you create the example, that I'm the one that did it. For me, like I'm the first person to get sober in my family, right? Like new, actual lived pattern. And you're talking about that with soul purpose. Okay. Earlier in the show, I said your soul purpose is to take who you truly are and what you love to the world. Now, what happens is, do you have a clarity on what that might be or look like for you? Do you have an anchoring or a vision around that?
No, I'm not there yet.
Okay, you'll get that. So you're going to get curious about that. You're going to invite it in. You're going to say, show me, I'm ready. And a lot of it is like this purpose work we just talked about, whether you go then teach about that, write a book about that. I don't know, but just be open to the universe showing you what it is, the truth of who you are and what you love, and showing up in that. Okay. Now here's the thing that you'll know it's the soul purpose. The thing your ego, the voice of fear gets loudest about is your purpose. Okay. That's the biggest sign, because your voice of fear in your mind, your limiting self, it's only going to get loud against the truth of your soul. That's the purpose of it. That's how it moves and operates. Okay. So that's when you'll know that you've landed on it. And then you're going to have to reach a point, right? When you know what it is, and you're already doing a lot of this work, by the way, where you're ready to start taking little steps. And that's going to feel really scary. And I'll just give you what I used to do. And then I'll be quiet and let you ask some more questions. So much is coming in. This is what I used to do every day. So I started to have an idea about what my purpose was. A vision was starting to come in. Right around that time, the voice of fear in my mind got so loud. Go get another job. Go back to marketing. It was so convincing that I almost did many times. And here was the truth that I want to give you that I knew to be true. If I listen to the voice of fear and I take action based on where it's guiding me, I will go to the lowest possible trajectory of my life. That's the only place the ego voice takes us. If I can instead, and if I know it's coming from my heart, I might not believe in it, but I know it's coming from my soul and heart, and I can take a little baby step of an action at a time towards that, I step into my highest destiny, my highest abundance, my highest possibility. And here's the kicker. The universe puts no dream in my heart that leads to poverty. The universe isn't cruel. That is a lie of the ego mind. All dreams in my heart only lead to abundance if I choose them. So I would just sit and get quiet on those days, and I'd go, wait, this voice feels really real. If I could identify it's coming from fear, I knew it was ego. What's my soul saying? Okay, it feels so uncomfortable, but I know it's coming from my soul. I'm just going to take a baby step towards it, a day at a time, because I know that's my highest destiny. So it was a very cognitive kind of behavioral process that I would just do a little baby step at a time, one little step through fear at a time.
Okay, that is really helpful. And so though I don't have clarity, I do have little nuggets that I'm like, what the heck does this mean? And yeah, I'm very much into trying to teach people about the environment, whether it's connecting to it or being so that they can then take better care of it. And I just am very passionate about connecting people to their environment. I know it helps emotionally. It's just like a circular benefit to the environment, to the people. And I know I have to do something with that, but I don't really know what that looks like yet.
Perfect. You're in a great place. So your purpose, our minds, and I get it, and it's why the concentric circle model never worked for me to figure it out. You doing what you love will serve. Don't even worry about that. You doing what you're passionate about will help the world, will serve, because that's a frequency you're going to be holding, if nothing more. So like that, I have no worry about right now. And I love what I'm hearing, because you said passion. So right now you're in the stage of be the curious detective about your passions. So all those little clues you're getting, anything you feel resonance, spark, passion, and synchronicity for, literally write them as little clues in like the notes app on your phone. And then at some point you're going, oh, because you're getting those little clues. And all that matters is resonance, excitement, spark, passion. That's it. You don't even have to like figure out how it'll serve, and the universe will show you on that. Right now, your only job is clarity on the passion. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, you have no idea when you said ancestral trauma and the scarcity thing. It takes a weight off my chest just to know that is recognized. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, a book I love on that, it's Lynn Twist, The Soul of Money. Have you ever read?
Yeah, I haven't read it, but I've heard of her. She is phenomenal at the way she talks about money. It's a soul. So, yeah, it is. It's a person. I've never heard anyone talk about money before like that. But yes, that's a book that I do want to read because the little bit that I've heard of her, it resonates.
Yeah, I actually just reread it. That's so funny.
You did?
I read it like 2 weeks ago. I reread it. So that is a good one. And Messages from Money by Ellen Rogan is another good one. She's another one. Both of those I think would be helpful. And I just love, there's a reason too that I know of Noelle's curiosity and openness to all of this and to want to do the work in order to, and I would never have even known about the ancestral ties to all of this. And so there's a reason that when I knew we were doing this today, honestly, it was like this loud voice in my ear. I told this to Noelle. It was like, call Noelle. Noelle could use this. And so there's a reason that you're here right now. And I love that passion. I know Noelle has such passion for so many things. And I can totally see you using one of those passions as a way to help heal others. I don't even know if you realize, Jessica, you use the word Noelle as a healer, and I can see that 1,000%.
Yeah, I really see that's what was coming through. Again, take it or leave it. Like the main is creating healing, your light worker healing all this ancestral.
Yes, I think
you're doing. And just you have done it. It's always like you're just catching up to it in linear time.
Yeah.
I can almost see you in, honestly, Noelle, like creating something really new and different with your love of, let's say, the water, or your love of how you use your body and the land. And I can see you taking people through certain steps in order to help heal certain aspects of themselves. So I'll follow up with you on that, but I can see there's so much there. And the other thing I wanted to say too, and Jessica and I were talking about this earlier, is that when you have these crossroad moments, we say moments, but they actually can be years. And so just know,
yeah,
it's not weird that it takes a little bit of time to do this work and then really charge a new path forward.
I always get annoyed when people say it, like, we're here for the journey, not the destination. I'm like, I want the destination, but it's true. And I will say I more and more appreciate the journey, even this 2025 journey I've been on so far, because and I've been really trying to practice that in my own life. It's the whole we teach what we most need to learn. So I feel you. And it's such a good point, Robyn. We're here to do the journey. Yeah. And you're doing it. You are doing it, or we would not be talking.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I just like anything, when you aren't getting quick responses, you're like, am I on the right track? This is really helpful. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Noelle.
Stay in touch. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
That was incredible to witness, Jessica.
That was so much fun. Thank you for bringing on just two incredible women. And it was my honor. It was so much fun. Had a blast.
One, I'm really grateful to them for trusting me.
That was like, it is not easy to put yourself out there.
Hello, I feel it's a little being naked in a way.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful they did, because I think what you were able to give both of them was a clear path to move forward, which is what they're both looking for in such different ways, and such validation for both of them. What a gift that you give to people in using all aspects of yourself, Jessica. It was really cool to see and be a part of that energy. And I know, because I'll get to follow up with both of them. I'll be that accountability person for them and just see how this helps them both move forward in those two different aspects.
And I'm here if there's any follow-ups too. That was quick, and hopefully they both received something, but I'm still here as well if they need anything.
Thank you. And I know you do this all the time. And for somebody that is listening, watching right now, and they're looking to make some sort of powerful shift in their life, move through some of the fear. And again, we can even see just in these two different examples that fear can come in such different ways, but ultimately it is fear in some ways keeping someone from really taking that next step. What is one thing that you recommend to someone listening, watching, that can help them shift?
You know what I want to say, Robyn, and because we geek out on the same spiritual study and work, often a response to that would be to witness the fear. But what I want to say instead is get to know your heart, get to know your soul. invite that in each day. Hey, soul, heart, from a place of curiosity, what do you want to show me? What do you want to tell me today? And make that journey and that getting to know, like in whatever way feels comfortable. It might be journaling. It might be that I meditate or I just say a simple little thing, but just bring that in. I'm going to get to know what my heart has to say to me today. I'm going to get to know my soul. Yeah.
I think that's huge. I think what's so interesting is we just had someone on recently talking about equine healing and how horses have their hearts are 10 times bigger than ours and they come from the place of the heart. And so the woman that we were talking to is both an animal communicator as well as an equine healing practitioner. And she says that's so much of what the horses are telling us too. And I know that sounds weird, but I just want to say there's no coincidence. That's what you're starting from too, is let's listen to our heart. What is that truth? What is our soul saying from that heart place? That is so important. And the other thing that I also want to say that came up a couple times in this conversation is that place of when you were little. What was your dream? What is your dream? What still comes up for you? Because you may be X age, but as we all know, it's so easy to think time is so strange, right? Because we can so very much remember dreams and so forth from when we were little because they travel with us. They're in our heart. And what is that for you? What is that for any given person? That's the truth of your soul and where you ultimately have planned in this lifetime to go and do.
Absolutely. I believe that's a lot of times I work with women and they're like, I don't know, because we're so used to not asking the question. We've just shoved it down. So we're so used to listening to this. So I think it's a lifelong question. I love that.
It is. And I will say too, you are also reminding me, even with my daughter, to ask her. She's going through the process right now of looking at colleges and all of that. And it's there's that responsible place of, am I making sure that whatever I'm looking to study will pay my bills? And what do I really want to do?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the same, but there's something to all of this in this conversation.
Yeah. A lot of women in my community that do this work in the women's purpose community now, they struggle with it. So it's a very common question. I know it's the dream in your heart. I know it's a thing you love. And then it's like this 3D reality kicks in and, oh, wait, what is it? Because then our own fears.
I know. Yeah. So if people want to work with you, dive deeper into all that you have to offer, what's the best place to do that? And how can they work with you?
Yeah, thank you for the question. The best place is my main website, which is my name. So it's pretty easy to remember. It's jessicajoins.com. But there's a few ways. One is really Women's Purpose Community. That's a community of about 80 women who focus on their personal and spiritual growth. There's a lot of information about that on the website. I'm also available for coaching as well. Just check it out, see what you find there. And I'm happy to connect with anyone.
Excellent. And I'm so grateful to now know you and be on the journey with you and collaborate more together and charge forward with our own heart's desire and truth of who we are, because I feel like we're supposed to hook arms. There's finding your people.
Absolutely. I love it. I feel that energy too. Collaboration is abundance. So there we go.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you for having me on. It's been such an honor.
And it's been such an honor to see you in action. And thank you for all that you have done and are doing and following the truth in your heart. We'll have Jessica's site in our show notes.
Thank you again.